What's up guys, Christy Arnett here for Card Player TV, and for this edition of Strategy, we're starting a new series on H.O.R.S.E. First game up is Hold'em. We caught up with Michael DeMichele, the $50,000 H.O.R.S.E. Championship runner-up, to talk about the most important thing to keep in mind when playing Hold'em.
Well, I think in limit hold'em, it's important to be careful about playing too many hands from early positions, and obviously big cards are better than the smaller cards. And after the flop, if you have overcards to the board, you should be peeling and trying to catch up. Sometimes you just have to put some money in when you don't even have anything in limit hold'em. You can't just always be folding if you don't have a pair. So you got to make some loose chases sometimes. I would say that's a pretty good tip. And then you defend your blinds a lot in limit hold'em. Yeah, that's one of the games you probably defend your blinds a lot more than in no limit, for instance. In no limit, you'd be tighter in the blinds.
We also caught up with Matt Graham, who's the winner of the $1,500 buy-in limit hold'em shootout at the past summer's World Series of Poker. We asked him what the biggest mistake that players make transitioning from no limit hold'em to limit hold'em.
Probably calling raises pre-flop too much, whereas in limit you should pretty much always be 3-betting any hand that you play.
Okay, so if you're the first person in the pot, do you ever want to be limping in? That seems like a bad thing. You want to raise?
Absolutely never in limit should you open limit.
Okay. Because betting limits are set, it's harder to push players out of pots, so we asked him if re-raising pre-flop with hands like 7-8 suited is profitable because they have less showdown value.
No, it just depends on your position. I'll raise it in late position, but not in early position. And it depends on the table as well and how well they play post-flop. If they're going to pay off at all streets every time you hit, or if they're going to fold, to your continuation bets a lot. It just depends on the dynamic of the players that you're playing against and how they play post-flop, as well as position.
In regards to a tournament setting, we talked to Matt about how strategy changes with different stack sizes late in a tournament.
It depends on my stack and the stacks of the people around me. But if I have a big stack, I'm probably going to be raising a lot in limit because there's so much in every pot. Very, very aggressive, especially in late position. On a shorter stack, you have to play even more tight in limit because you want to avoid situations with weakish hands where you end up putting in a lot of your chips, because it's not like you can just go all in and see 5 cards. You want to avoid having to put in a lot of bets on a short stack and then have to fold on like the turn or something. It's a disaster to your stack. So just play very tight on a short stack and pretty aggressive on a big stack.
Matt also says that isolating is still a big part of limit hold'em, just as it is in no limit hold'em.
Well, you can still do that to a person that's raising loose, because you're just putting in an extra bet, and if they have a very wide opening range, they're going to call every time to see that flop, but they're going to be check folding on flops a lot if they have if they're raising with like King 7 offsuit, let's say, that's going to miss a lot of flops. And they're just going to fold to your bet. So you're building a pot in position that you can win.
Thanks for tuning in to our first installment of our H.O.R.S.E. series. Be sure to check back on cardplayertv.com for Omaha 8 or better. I'm Christy Arnett for Card Player TV.